Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. Of course, I'm your host, BeBall Jones, and today I have another interview for you guys. I like these interviews, man. They're pretty fun to do. I get to chop it up with different people of different professions around the game of basketball. Get to introduce you guys to new people who have an interesting story, and they drop some gems, give you a little game on the side. So today's no different than that, man. But I do have an interesting perspective to give you guys. I'm bringing somebody from the G League level to give you some G League game. Not G League game, but it's like high tier game, but it's from the G League perspective. So I'm gonna shut up 5 minutes up anymore. But welcome in my guy, my homie, Bama boy around the way, Denzel. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm loving it, bro. How about you?
Good, man. Can't complain. Can't complain. Thank you for having me on here.
Man, I love having people on here, man. It means a lot when somebody takes the time to get on a podcast. So I appreciate you being a part, man.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and give you a better introduction. I know I tried to get my little 2 cents in there, but introduce the people how you do it, man. So tell the people what you got going on, who you are, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. But yeah, like you said, Denzel Stovall. I'm from Florence, Alabama. Grew up playing sports year round, football, basketball, track. Had a small scholarship to Montgomery for football. Kind of was just chasing football because my friends were playing it. Although I had some type of talent, but I think my real talent should have been basketball from the get go. But played football, got a scholarship, transferred to a few schools, ended up at UAB. Chose that as home to play football, but they took the football program away, and that kind of got me into the field that I am now. So during my time in undergrad, I studied kinesiology, graduated, took a year off to become a personal trainer, got that certification, was personal training people on the side at the school, at the rec. Did that for about a year, then decided to get back into school. Back at UAB, just did kinesiology again, concentration in exercise physiology. During that time at UAB, I interned with men's basketball. My mentor, Nick Michael, gave me a chance for 2 years just to shadow him and see how strength and conditioning, how it was. And so kind of fell in love with it, graduated, got a full-time job in the private sector for about a year. Then COVID hit. During COVID, took a leap of faith to go to another private facility, D1 training. At the same time, had a high school coach reach out to one of the GAs at UAB and just ask him, did he know of any strength coaches that would like to volunteer? So I just accepted. It was at Ramsey High School. Shout out to Coach Johnson, giving me a chance. Really great coach. Had a great coach over there. We made it to the state championship despite a loss. Love everything that he had to offer. He put me in a position to succeed. And that later got me a job at North Carolina A&T. My primary responsibility was men's basketball, golf, help with football. I had volleyball, baseball, softball teams, almost every team there, and I helped. And I appreciate every student athlete there. Um, Towards that summer, a little bit past the summer is when one of the interns at A&T asked me, did I want to, try my luck in the G League? And I told him yes. And that's kind of how I got on with the Utah Jazz. Just an intern, used to come around every day, watch how I lift the teams and how I went about. And you would never believe that people who try to get in positions that you are actually have some type of resource or connection to get you to your next step. And so I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate him. They called me, they interviewed me, and they flew me out, see if I liked it, see if they liked me. And then they let me know during that trip they would like for me to come back. So that's kind of how I got on with the Utah Jazz. It was a dope experience. So here we are, year one in. Just finished up. We made it to the playoffs, first time reaching the playoffs in Stars history. So, to host a home game in Stars history, which
Mm-hmm.
is big time to the city, to the organization. So, had a great year, but here we are in the summer, off season, or approaching summer. So we got some work to do. It's kind of my story.
There's a lot of points in that story, man. You done went from personal training to different schools and all the way up to college. Now you know G League at the professional level. So a lot of
Yep.
people see you started here, or I knew him at UAB or whatever, and they just see you, you know, G League, and it's like, oh man, he did it overnight, the overnight success stuff, but they
Right.
don't really know all the nooks and crannies you went through and the
Nah.
highs and lows. So,
Nah, they don't. Man, waking up, I was going to D1 training at like 4 a.m. and then I would go to Ramsey at like 4 p.m. And this was like every day. But I had my mind set on something, and I enjoyed the process. You know, it was fun
mm,
waking up, getting to meet different people, a different style of just group fitness. You have group fitness with adults, and then you have your athletes who are in sports. So, I mean, I enjoyed them both. I think I learned something from both, and that's kind of what helped me get here. So, I appreciate it.
let's talk about that. Like, what are some of the differences that you saw between the general public training and you saw with the athletes training? What's the difference from uh, your working out and your programming, and just from,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, their motivation and kind of like how they enter, training with you.
Absolutely. So, adults, they just want to move. They want to get in shape. They want to feel good. And they also want a good person, a good coach, a good teacher to lead them, somebody who got some energy to them. They may have a long 8 hour, 9 hour shift. And so when they leave work, they want to get off to knowing that they're in good hands. There's going to be a good workout. There's going to be a fun workout. So for the most part, you have to make it fun. Kind of generic, but unique in a sense because most adults are retired military or retired athlete, and they want to still feel like they're that athlete. So you make it
Mhm.
fun, make it challenging for them, and kind of put like some movements in there that challenges them, stuff they used to do back in the day. Whereas athletes, some days they probably don't even feel like working out, but
Mhm.
they have to. They signed a deal. That's part of their contract. Like you have to work out. So you'll get some athletes who don't want to come in and put in the work. So you have to find ways to get to that athlete. And then you have majority who do want to show up and put some work in. So you have to find a balance in a program where all athletes could have fun or succeed. Um, yeah. So I don't know. It's a unique place, but it's kind of the same. You work
Mhm.
with 20-year-olds and you have 40-year-olds who want to do the same thing. Um, it's just more responsibility with an athlete. You have to keep them safe. You have to keep them motivated. You have to keep them in line. And then you also have to remind them the bigger goal because they work out for a goal, a bigger goal in the end result versus um, that adult can show up any day of the week, you know what I mean, and get right back on
Mhm.
track. The athlete can't do that. They miss a couple steps behind. Now PT gone down or performance goes down. So it's a different but unique in some sense. They have some of the commonalities that's the
Mhm.
same. So that's what I'll say about that.
So how do you deal with the athlete who kind of doesn't want to show up, and like, how do you motivate them to really get them back in the gym and keep them in the gym?
For that athlete, you have to know that athlete for one, and that's something I'm big on. I'm big on creating relationships with different people. And every relationship cannot be the same. You have to be authentic with that person. You have to know what drives them, what motivates them, and what puts them down, what they don't like. So, for one, you try to avoid putting them in a state of they don't feel like showing up today, they don't feel like working out today. You have to make it exciting for them in a sense. If it's 9 exercises, at least one exercise has to be something that that person likes, something that
Mhm.
they look forward to. So that's kind of how I program. And conversation. You start off. I always try to introduce myself or greet each athlete every day before they even have a chance to speak to me. So I'm
Mm,
already approaching them, talking to them and stuff. I can kind of gauge how they're feeling. Talk to them. Yo, what happened last night? You all right? Everything good? Oh, shoot. Let me know if you need anything today. You make them feel good and confident. They'll come in and put the work in for you. Um, and then if you just make the environment fun, you have 8 athletes who having fun. It's gonna rub off on whoever it is that's having a bad day. So
mhm.
just try to stay engaged with that person. Let them know that they're improving, that they're doing good. Don't worry about whatever is on your mind. We'll handle that later. But right now, let's put this work in. I'm pretty sure it's gonna pay off. And so they're motivated. They're ready to go.
So would you say you saw a difference between working with football guys or just general athletes versus the basketball guys, or was it all just kind of like athlete mentality?
Yeah, it's definitely different attitudes and cultures. So football, if you're not in the weight room, you're not gonna succeed. Period. Point blank. Period. You know what I mean? So that culture already has that dog mentality for the most part.
Mm,
Whereas a basketball player, they have long levers. They 6'5", 6'8", 7 feet. They don't want to lift. You know what I mean?
mhm,
So that's why it's important to have a strength coach or a performance coach who kind of knows what a basketball player likes. They hate squatting because they're
mhm,
so tall, they're so long. So how can we alter the squat or that lunge, that squat pattern to still get the adaptations that we want to see? Maybe it's a quarter squat today, or maybe it's like a goblet squat. Maybe raise the heel. So you make it where that athlete can still succeed, and still gain that adaptation. But I've had baseball teams who like their culture is just like that. It's like 38 of them. Like they're in the weight room all at once. So
mm,
they gonna be hitting the weights hard. You know what I mean? It's like a competition for them. My volleyball teams, they got after it. You know what I mean? My women's hoops are kind of like men's hoops. It'd be days where they don't want to come in. Excuse me. They don't want to come in and do anything. You know what I mean? But it's on you to make it an environment where they want to come in and actually want to put some work in. My
mm,
tennis team, they never really had a lifting program. They come in, they get their shoulders warm, and they go play tennis. Um, when I put the program in and just told them, I believe in y'all, but you have to work. And they started winning. They started understanding that if their bodies got stronger and durable, then they can be number one in whatever league they're in. You know what I mean? So it kind of just take time. Some coaches like the weight room, some don't. It's on the coach to kind of bring that out in them, make it fun, and make it a place where everybody can succeed. So
mm. So okay, so let's say you're going to a situation where they don't have, a strength coach like that. And let's
mhm.
say it is like a tennis or, basketball team and they don't have a strength coach in place and they kind of do it, like you said, it's kind of iffy. Like I'll go in what I want to go in, whatever. Let's say, hey, Denzel, we want to hire you over our team to be the strength conditioning coach. But you have to go in and change the culture. Like, what is like the first thing you're gonna do to be like, all right, guys, are you gonna come in and like lay down the iron fist? Are you gonna come in and try to, sweet talk everybody? How are you gonna go in and change the culture, get these guys from or ladies from zero to hero, from not weight room to weight room warriors? Like, how are you gonna do and change that?
Absolutely. So the first thing you do is, you come prepared. You create a document or just a plan of what's important to you, your values, what you expect out of that team that year, and you discipline them, and not in a bad way. You set your standards, and once your standards are broke, you show them that like this is not gonna cut it. This isn't winning culture. This isn't the culture that
Mm,
we envision. So um, my past teams have been pretty good as far as the standards. But that one time you wait for an athlete to be like a minute late or 30 seconds late, like you have to, not in a bad way, you have to punish the team though. Let's do something. Let's remove music for the lift, or
Mhm.
um, we're going outside as a team. We're gonna run a lap. We can't have that. If we want to win, everybody must be here on time, dressed alike, stuff like that. So you set a few boundaries, few standards, and you tell them what is going to be. After that, your programming must be structured to a T. Like, you must look prepared every single day. You have to
Mhm.
live by whatever you're preaching. Like, if you want them to be on time as a coach, like, you must be on time.
Mhm.
And hate to say it, like, there's no excuses. We understand stuff happens, but you're supposed to be the first one there. You should make sure that everything is in line for you to make it there. You know, you should have the weight room and everything set up for them, so that way they walk in, they're like, oh, he's serious. He's been up here. He or she's been up here planning, ready to go. Like, he mean business today. She mean business today. All right, let us not like mess that up. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
you have to live by whatever you preach. You have to set the standards. And when they see that, it's kind of like they don't want to disappoint you, so they can't let you down. I'm going to make sure I'm on time today. Coach Stowe, he was upset last time, and he's right. Like, we want to win. So this is
Mhm.
what winners do. And then you bring teammates in, and, your teammates start holding teammates accountable, calling each other out, telling them, like, hey, we can't do that. All right. And that transfers over to the sport practice. And eventually, you never know, you created a winning culture.
Mhm.
So it's just laying down those foundations, those standards early on, and sticking by them.
Did you ever deal with any pushback or resistance from the sports coaches?
Sport coaches, no, not necessarily. Actually, yes, I did. I did. As a matter of fact, um, he was just old school. He was raised old school, and they used to do things a certain way back in the day. And the
Mhm.
way you deal with that is, you listen. You know, like, I'm young. Almost every coach is going to be older than me. So what I do is I listen. I understand. I see what you're saying, coach. Here's what I would propose based off of what I've learned and my experience with the new science today. And you tell them, you try to explain to them, and you just try to meet in the middle. You're like, you know what, coach, I actually like what you're doing. Yep, I'm gonna try that. And then towards the end of the session or whatever it is, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of this in there and just see what happens. You
Mhm.
know, and over time, as you start to build that trust with that coach, they'll start to, bag back a little bit and let you do your thing. And this happened with one particular team where it started off where he wanted me to do a certain conditioning approach with the team, and in my mind, it just didn't match. Um, what would I call it? Like, the energy system that was needed for the
Mhm.
sport. It just didn't
Mhm.
match. So, well, all right, coach, yeah, I'll do that, but I kind of want to do this too because it's more sport specific for that sport. You know, and he was like, yeah, I see what you got. Started doing it. Athletes started getting better, their endurance started getting better. Um, and the coach is like, hey, I kind of like that, what you're doing. Like, keep it up. You know what I mean? So it's really just building trust with that sport coach. And again, just showing up every day prepared, showing them that you really care about what you do and that you're passionate about the athlete. So
Talk about that because we still have a lot of coaches who you warm up doing a mile or you punishment you're gonna do suicides, and you know what I mean. It's stuff that
yeah.
on paper it looks good. Oh, we just been doing that for so many years. But talk about how can I say this? Why is that not the most effective thing to do? And what is a good substitute that we can do instead? So you want to get conditioning cardio, specifically for basketball. Instead of
hmm
doing this is a better substitute we can do, or just a philosophy or whatever.
So I'm just from reading and just from reaching out to guys in the field that's been there longer than me, but also have some sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Playing their sport is already conditioning. You playing basketball on the court, you doing um, dribbling drills, or some people do like these full court drills. Like that's conditioning, literally. Now you put out a body or coach defending. Like now they playing against some resistance. That's more game like. They already jumping from shooting the ball, layups, and you put them on defense. Now they playing defense. Like that's conditioning. That's everything that you're doing basketball. So, and not to knock on anything that we've been doing in the past, but the warm up can just look like something in the weight room. Like you can get moving in the weight room. Like that's that's killing two birds with one stone. We didn't got to lift in, and we're preparing for the on court activity.
Mm-hmm.
Like now you can save yourself time. Now you can do whatever you want to at the end of the session. So that's what I would recommend. I wouldn't recommend starting off with like conditioning or mile. I would recommend doing that at the end because what's most important during this time of the year? You know what I mean? Is it getting better at basketball? All right, well let's get better at basketball. Everything else we can do that at the end.
Mm-hmm.
In season, like we play a lot of basketball anyways. That's conditioning. That's a lot of conditioning. In season, we really shouldn't be adding extra conditioning to athletes. Like all you're doing is increasing their risk to get hurt. Like ACLs is a non-contact injury. What do we think they come from? They come from planting, jumping, twisting, turning way before basketball is even needed to be done that day. You know what I mean? Like so we
Mm-hmm.
putting all this stress on them and then turn around and throw them into basketball where they're doing more cutting and jumping. Like of course guys are getting hurt. Ladies are gonna get hurt. Like we're doing too much. So I think off season would be the best time to do like some mile running or suicides. But as we get closer to season, there's really no need for it. They're already doing it with basketball at a high level over and over and over. So there's no purpose of doing that extra conditioning. So if anything, I would do like some band work. So what I do a lot is I do bands around the ankles. We do a lot of hip activation stuff. We do, believe it or not, balance stuff. So take shoes off, balance on one foot, 30
Mm-hmm.
seconds, trying to keep the knee straight, activating the VMOs and the glutes. Um, or we do like some jump rope. I love jump rope. It's a little bit of conditioning,
Mm-hmm.
coordination, plyometric, all in one, warming up the shoulders. They use shoulders and arms for basketball. Why not warm it up? Um, just little stuff like that, hip stuff, ankle stuff, just to get the ankles, knees, hips going, core activated, and then hit the court. If you wanna add extra conditioning in, maybe go longer on the court or add like a sprint in between each drill or something like that. You can get creative with it and change it up for the athletes. They like variety. Stick to
Mm-hmm.
a block for a week, for 2 weeks, and then switch it up. Or you can go day by day, depending on what type of person you are or what the athlete needs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my 2 cents on like the warming up. You can do something in the weight room to warm them up, knock out two birds, one stone, and then go into your basketball stuff.
Mm. So what is like the biggest like you said, the older school have the ways of doing things, but what's something that we
Mm-hmm.
need to leave in the old school ways that you still see going on now? Like what's the biggest one that you just like, guys, if we could just get past this thing and we'll be so much better and progress as coaches, as trainers, as athletes. What's the one thing, or you can name two, whatever, like what's the biggest things that you see is just like, guys, can we leave that back in the day? Science says this is better, so let's do more of this.
I would I would say the conditioning piece, and using it as punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Using conditioning as punishment. Um, you punish a guy because we look tired in practice. All right, we look tired in practice, so we decide to run them more. When
Mm-hmm.
they come back, they're gonna be more tired.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I get it, it's a mental thing. And honestly, when they come back from that running, they just gonna give you a mental push. That's it. Like their body's still gonna be tired if that's why we punishing them. They
Mm-hmm.
still gonna look tired. They're just giving you a mental push. You know what I mean? Just because you punish them, they gonna come back and try to go harder. Well, we got another drill left. They ain't gonna have nothing for that next drill.
Yep.
So honestly, just the conditioning as punishment. If you're doing it for mental, cool, but it has to get to a point where we're past that stage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, get all the mental drills and pieces, exercises out in the summer, in the off season. When it's time to start cranking up for basketball, all right, let's find different ways to punish guys. Let's take away something. Guys hate practicing lifting with no music. I'm telling you, like, that's the
Mm-hmm.
best one. Make them stay after, and just it just depends on the setting. Make them stay after and clean up the weight room. Talk to them. Maybe clean the weight room up with them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Give them some type of reason to be better. You know what I mean? Like, I get down on hands and knees and clean with a guy who I just punished cleaning the weight room, but I talk to him and find out he has 3 brothers, 2 sisters. You know what I mean? It just be random stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll kind of mess the guy up a little bit. He like, yo, I thought coach supposed to be making me clean this up. He cleaning it up with me. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
it's real. Like, I care about you more than anything. You know, I just want to see you succeed. I'm gonna help you clean it up. I've been meaning to clean it up for the last 2 weeks, so I feel a little guilty. But at the
Yeah.
same time, like, it's just work, and everybody's human. You know what I mean? So I think punishing them with conditioning is kind of like senseless to me. You know what I mean? You can teach them a better lesson um, with different methods.
I'm so glad you said that, man, because I still see so many coaches that like, all right, you messed up, or this team won a drill, so get on the line. And I get it, you want to do conditioning and everything, but like you said, it gets to a point where you get diminishing returns. So at some point, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, the body's tapped out, and mentally, I'm trying to shrug through. And some
Mm-hmm.
coaches, like you said, like to do it for mental toughness and mental fortitude. So what can we do to replace the this is a drill or workout for mental toughness? Like, what can we do besides just basically like punishing guys, like doing extra unnecessary stuff on top of what they already did. So what else can we do to build mental toughness in the weight room or through our training besides just running them to death or making them do some crazy burpee exercise, whatever?
Oh yeah. This is something I used to do with my previous team. Like on Fridays, have like a fun Friday, where it's like different races, like make it competitions. You know,
Mm.
when guys hear, all right, we're gonna split up into teams.
Mm-hmm.
They get
Yeah.
anxious. They get ready for that. It could be the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
But when they hear that, they're ready to compete. So things I used to like to do was like a plate carry. Like, it'd be a stack of plates. One guy, he takes up a plate, he runs down like 15 yards, place it, come back, get another plate, stack it. Once that stack is complete, the next guy goes. That's like a loaded carry, like a plate
Mm-hmm.
carry. Like, it's tough. It's tough on your grip. It's tough on your core, your shoulders. So if you do that, you put it in a competition setting, like, guys not gonna think about how hard it is. They just gonna
Mm-hmm.
do it just because they get a chance to compete. Sled pushes, sled pulls, like that type of stuff. We used to push the sled about 20 yards, turn around, bring it back. All right, next go around, we pulling it. Pulling it is harder.
Mm-hmm.
Um, maybe even have a guy stand on it. You can't. If you push it and your teammate fall off, you got to start all the way over. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Hill sprints. Hill sprints is a good one because you don't need any equipment. All you need is a hill.
Mm-hmm.
First man up, go tag the fence, come back down, tag them, next man goes. You put it in relay style, make them compete. They won't even see that it's really, brutal. You got
Yeah.
to have some grit. But when they hear that competition, all they want to do is just kill the other team. So different stuff like that. Relay races outside. You know, um, we've done a campus run before, holding the med ball. Don't let the med ball drop. If your
Mm-hmm.
team drops the med ball, 10 push-ups. But now you running a mile, you behind point one of a mile. Like, so now you got to catch up to get back in front. So just little stuff like that, make it fun. You do it with them. If there's an extra body, they like that. They always love competing against the strength coach or the teacher, stuff
Yep.
like that. That's extra motivation. They just want to beat you so bad. You know what I mean? So just switching things up, make it fun for them. Yeah, really just have fun. Have fun with it.
So it's not that you're mentally weak. It's just that you don't really understand where your mental toughness is. You don't understand where exactly you're mentally strong at. It's even crazy. You probably don't even really understand what mental toughness actually is. And I don't blame you because usually we just have coaches yelling at us and fussing at us saying, hey, be mentally tough. You're being weak right now. You're being soft right now. But it's not the full scope, and it doesn't give you any true understanding of what mental toughness is and how you can get better at it. And so I'm here to help you guys out. Because just imagine I gave you a pill right here in my hand. Just imagine. And within that pill, it gave you just a epiphany where you just brain just blew up and you're just like, oh my goodness, you got so much better understanding. Now your game just grows by 10x and you just a whole different person now. Bro, I got the pill for you right here. Never fear. B's Mental Toughness Playbook ebook is here. You feel me? So in this whole little playbook I got for you, just a small little ebook, it breaks down the mental game of understanding what mental toughness is in different areas of what your mental toughness is and how you can actually grow it and get better and enhance it. So, look in the link, look in the description, and to go ahead and purchase it and do yourself a favor by just understanding what mental toughness actually is and also understanding how you can actually grow it and what you need to get better at it. So, just the Mental Toughness Playbook, small little ebook. I'm just trying to tell you, hey, can't say I didn't warn you. Man, I can tell your emotional intelligence, your EQ is pretty high. And I can tell that you care about the players more than just as bodies in the weight room. So like where did that come from? What did your sensitivity for them and their feelings come from? Because that's not the most common thing that you see, especially from a strength coach. It's more of like, hey, this is my weight room. You lifting what I say lift, you're doing what I say do. So where did that high EQ come from for you?
For me, man, it came from being like second string my whole life. Like I've always been a bag up to somebody that like the coaches love. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
no hate on that. Respect is due. Like those guys are good, but had you had people who dial in to everybody, you know, that ultimate goal would have been easier to achieve. You know what I mean? When you have the
Mm-hmm.
whole team who's confident, who's prepared. Um, I've had buddies all the time. We used to talk about like, man, we just go to practice just to beat up on first string. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And it'd be a lot of us and we'd be good. You know what I mean? We just don't have that chance to make mistakes, to learn from mistakes, and then actually see or put forth what we've got better at on showcase. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of have a soft spot for guys who don't get that shine. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of navigate to them. I instill confidence in them because there's power in numbers. You know what I mean? Like first string gonna be first string. They're gonna be good. They're already talented. All right, well, those second string, third string dudes, they just need a little bit of development. They need a little bit of confidence. You know what I mean? I was one of those dudes. And so that's kind of what instilled a work habit for myself. I just wanted to work hard. I wanted to be better. I wanted to get better. And then I told myself once I get into coaching, like I would do the same in return. I would give it back to those who just need that confidence, who just needs somebody to push them and tell them like, you're all right, like you're gonna mess up, but that's what it's about. Like we have to learn from it and get better. So that's kind of where I got that sensitivity from a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, just from being second string, being mediocre my whole life. I just want to push it out of those who are sitting on potential, and those who are already there. You know what I mean? They still need that extra push. You haven't made it yet. You got to keep telling dudes that
Mm-hmm.
like you haven't made it yet. But when you
Yeah.
include yourself in there, they look at you as a superhero, but when you include yourself, it's like, yo, I haven't made it either. Like I have to keep going. So I'm gonna keep
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep pushing you. And so now it's really power going on. You know what I mean? Like they behind you, they
Mm-hmm.
behind each other. And yeah, that's where I got that from, man. That's where I got that from.
Mm. So you said you were second string. That was football or basketball. What sport was that for you?
Everything,
Everything.
everything. Football, basketball. The only thing that was kind of individualized was track. I long jump,
Mm-hmm.
so I kind of earned that for myself. But I was on the B team, relay team, the 4x1. Like, so like I was always like second string. And that
Mm.
was just something I had to deal with.
So growing up, man, like you said, football was your sport to college,
Mm-hmm.
but right now you're a G League strength coach. So like what made you lean more towards football? Like 'cause I know you said your friends, but like even with that, like why football?
Football at first was really mainly just because my friends played, started since high school, ninth grade, after school. It's like, where's everybody going? Everybody football practice. It's like, oh shoot, I ain't got nobody to like go home play with, play the game with. So
Mm,
shoot, I'm finna go out to football. So that's kind of just been my thing. As far as getting out there. When I did get out there, I realized that like, dang, football is actually fun. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
I played safety, and so like I was more of an IQ type of person, and so that's why I think that I was good at safety. I wasn't like the fastest like accelerator. I was always like a long leg pickup speed type dude. So I can kind of bait the quarterback and then go chase a receiver down for a long
mm.
ball. So I kind of just stuck with football. When I got to college, when they shut the football program down at UAB around 2014, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, I just reached out to coaches, football, basketball, football coaches at different schools, and really just trying to intern, just trying to get back around the sport. And that's when Nick Michaels, my mentor at UAB, men's basketball strength coach, in like 2018, 2019, this was towards graduation. Yeah, he was the first one that emailed me back. So that's kind of when I fell in love with basketball. He gave me a chance. Worked around that team for 2 years, and I was like, you know what, I can be indoors training some weak basketball players for the rest of my life.
Don't do us like that.
So, but I mean, it's the truth. It's fun. Like
Yeah.
basketball players are just so good at what they do. Like for the most part, they don't have to lift weights, but the
Hmm.
ones who do lift weights, they on the court longer. They're stronger. They're able to bump. They're able to shoot a jump shot consistently over a game. They look good in the jerseys. Like all that little stuff is what I like. And basketball players, them not having an experience of training age, they're easier to put that stuff on them. They're easier to get stronger. They're easier to get bigger and leaner.
Hmm.
So um, you create some buy-in, you get a good product. So that's kind of what pushed me over to basketball.
So when did it click for you to say, I want to go from player to strength coach? Like when did that happen for you? Was it after the program shut down? Was it was it during football? Like, what happened for you to say, all right, playing, it's cool, but strength coach is what I want to get into? When did that happen for you?
Yeah, so that did happen around the time they shut the program down. I had a dream really of going to the NFL. I feel like I had the size. I just needed to put a little bit more work in. Um, Most of the guys that play football have been playing football since Pee Wee. I played football
Hmm.
Pee Wee, then I stopped all the way up until ninth grade. And so like there's of years and years that I missed of training. So just when they shut the program down, coaches still walk on campus trying to recruit people because they knew the program was coming back. I was like, you know what, man, I'm just gonna focus on school, and figure out a way to stay around sports. And
Hmm.
so, what do I like? I like to work out. I like sports. Well, that sounds like a strength coach to me. So that's
Hmm.
kind of how I got into that. And once I did, interning at UAB, um, Coach Mike just made me love it. He made me get up every day and appreciate it because behind the scenes, strength coaches, ATs, the doctors, like there's a lot of credit that they don't get,
Hmm.
but they're with the athletes every day. You know what I mean? Like when we have off days, there's at least one guy who wants to lift, and
Hmm.
so that one guy and me, we're both in the weight room on that off day. You know what I mean? And let them have like a tweaked ankle or something. The trainers are in there too. So there's a lot of work that those type of staff members, do behind the scenes that they don't get credit for. So um, it's a field that I enjoy. I like that though. It makes me work. It makes me appreciate the grind, and it helps me develop a relationship with that person.
Hmm.
So
So you're a pretty well educated brother. Um, if
try to
I'm a
be.
young, hey man, you doing it, bro. Like if you ain't just look up on all the situations you had, bro. Like you doing it, man. So
Appreciate it.
yeah, man. So let's say I'm starting out and I do want to follow more the strength coach path or perform. Matter of fact, before we get there, what's the difference between a strength coach and a performance coach? What are the like? What's the difference between those 2?
Not not much. It's just a title. I mean, you think about it. Strength coach sound like they just do weight room stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Performance coach do everything: weight room, on the court, um, your conditioning, all that. But honestly, not really a big difference. Um, some teams that have a strength coach who does all the weight room stuff, but the head coach still runs them. You
Mm-hmm.
have that in certain places. Speaking from the college um, setting, private setting, I will always call myself a performance coach. It sounds more intriguing to me. It sounds like you're well-rounded, Swiss
Mm-hmm.
Army knife type thing. So honestly, that's kind of what I would rather call myself, a performance coach, because I do on court stuff. If I needed to, if the skill coach isn't there that day, I could take them through some dribbling drills, some
Mm-hmm.
shots. That's still performance. And we can go in the weight room, do weight room stuff. We can condition, do everything. So I would prefer a performance coach over a strength coach.
Yeah, from my kind of understanding of it, I always kind of, maybe it's just me, but I always thought of strength and conditioning coach, you're tied to a school or a program kind of, and performance coach is kind of tied to, like you said, the private sector. So for you, you'll
Mm-hmm.
be tied to strength and conditioning coach. For me, I'll be more performance coach. So I just like to
Mm-hmm.
see what other people's definition and perspective of that are. But
Absolutely. And I think just coming from a private facility, if you're a performance coach, you get hired on at the college, you still really a performance coach. Like
mm-hmm.
you're increasing these guys' performance like every night or on game day. Like it's a performance. So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help their performance in the league. Like it's entertainment, it's a performance. Like
Mm-hmm.
so I'm trying to help their performance, not just their strength and conditioning.
Hmm. So let's say I'm starting out and I'm like you, I want to get from athlete into performance coaching or strength and conditioning coaching, or let's say I'm just a sports coach or whoever. I want to get into the field of strength and conditioning, performance training. How do
Mm-hmm.
I start? Where do I start? I'm at ground zero. I just know I want to do it. Where would I start at?
I would reach out to the nearest school, high school, or private facility that offers like performance training. All right. I will for those schools, I would try to volunteer or intern if they do not have like a paid position for it. Because that's kind of like what happened at UAB. Like UAB didn't have a position for that. I
Mhm.
just emailed the coach like, "Hey, could I help out like on days that I'm available?" And so you go in there and talk to them, and they kind of give you the schedule. Like, "Hey, can you be here these days?" And like, I'm there every day. And so then you get your foot in the door. And it's the same with private facility. If that private facility isn't hiring, maybe just asking, "Hey, can I come hang out?" Maybe, shadow and just learn from you guys. So I would try those methods. And usually somebody's going to need free help.
Mhm.
Nobody's really going to turn down free help.
Yeah.
As a person trying to get into it, you have to understand that you're going to have to offer free help, and you have to live with that, but you have to understand that it's not for the money, it's not for fame or anything like that. Like you're genuinely trying to help athletes or, athletes, human beings succeed. You're really invested in their journey to getting to wherever they want to get to. You know what I mean? So It's gonna be days where it's gonna be long days where you're not gonna get paid, you're not gonna get a t-shirt, you're gonna be cleaning racks, putting up equipment
Mm-hmm.
every single day. Like this is your routine. Like Coach Mike, honestly, he didn't let me lead the guys until the second year. And it was only for like one day because he had to go out of town. You know what I mean? So most of the day I was just there, rah-rah guy, help clean up, help set up, um, and just, be like a extra help for the guys, there for the guys, and somebody who just supported them, and I did that every day, and I would never complain about it. I did that for 2 years, and I appreciate it. So starting off, that's what you will have to do once you get your foot in the door. You have to show them that you bring value. Like what are you good at? What can you do? Can you be consistent? Are you a person of good character? Like when you show people that they want you to be around, they can kind of feel when you're not there. So once you get your foot in the door, you have to show them value, make it hard for them to say no to you next year. Coach, can I come back next year and do the same thing? Make it hard for them to say no. You know what I mean? Like work your butt off. Try to learn as much as you can. Um, Lastly, once you get your foot in the door, you show your value, build relationships with everybody, the head coach, the assistant coaches, the GAs, the interns, you know what I mean? Like the managers, like I'm treating everybody with respect. You'd never know. Like it was a manager who got me on with the high school in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would never know. You know what I mean? It wasn't one of the head coaches or assistant coaches. It was the manager, the guy who was working for free alongside me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like you just got to treat everybody with respect and make them feel good. Speak to them every day. And that's one of the things I tell my athletes day one. Treat everybody here with respect. Me, your fellow athletes, your teammates, the janitors. Like my dad was a janitor, so I have respect for janitors. They make minimum
Mm-hmm.
wage, but they come in here and they clean up after you every single day. And so like that's the kind of mindset that you have to have if you're trying to climb the ladder. You know what I mean? Like I do anything for the minimum. I do my job. I do your job. I do his job. Like that's the kind of mindset that you have to have, and that's what I did. People they would laugh at me at first, joking, and then it was like, dang, like you really want this, huh? And like I really do. You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, they're vouching for you to the next person or the next person
Mm-hmm.
that's hiring, and so you never know. Everybody's watching you. Be that person that when you're not there, they know that you're not there, and like, oh shoot, where's
Mm-hmm.
Denzel today? I can
That's
feel
good.
that he's not
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what I would say. I would reach out locally. If you got some funds set up, maybe you can apply to something that's out of state. But I would start locally, at least get that experience, get your foot in the door, show value. Then after that, just create as many relationships as you can. Show them that you work hard, that you really care, and that you really you want to move up. This ain't the stopping. It's not the stopping grounds right here. I got to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that was a bar,
Absolutely.
man. That was a
No,
bar. Like,
absolutely.
yeah, I hope they ain't missed that one, man. Like they're gonna have to round that
I,
one back.
man, I hope not. Look, I live by it, and it got me here so far. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep doing it. Even
Mm.
when I'm at the highest, I feel like I'm at the lowest.
Mm.
Another bar.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, that was good, bro. I really hope they caught that one because that's needed, man. Because I think that mindset is what separates the people. Because let's say I don't have that attitude that you talked about. I got all the IQ stuff. I studied everything. I got all the uh certifications, all that stuff, man. But you come in, you don't know that you want to do it. So you come in off the strength of just, hey, you got something for me, emailing people, texting who you can. This I guarantee you're gonna go way farther than I could, just because of that. Cause
Nah, we can all
for
be
sure,
up there
bro.
together. We can be there together.
But if my
It's never.
mindset's not right, then I'm
Yeah.
limited
No,
to
you
where I can
true.
go.
You true.
So
Absolutely right. Yeah. Facts.
Yeah, that's the part that I feel like separates most people because like if you a know it all but you a jerk, I don't think I want to be around you that long, man.
Nah, and people don't want you around either. They gonna tell whoever hiring, like, hey, we gotta get rid of him.
Exactly.
So
See, I hope they caught that one, man. But let's go to the other side of it, like I talked about. You have that part down. But now I'm starting to I don't know enough about strength and conditioning. Where do I start with actually getting the understanding? Like do I start with the muscular system? Do I start with this? Like, there's so much to go off and just like I'm studying, trying to get YouTube. I'm trying to do all this stuff. Where do I start with understanding the body and like the education of how to be a strength and conditioning coach? Where do I start with that?
yeah, so luckily for me, classes, um, my field offered the classes that broke it down for me, um, group things depending on the class. So I would say for one, education, college, actually pay attention in anatomy. Fun fact, I failed anatomy twice and passed the third time. The first time was because I didn't really care. The second
Mm-hmm.
time I was like, all right, man, like this ain't that hard. Let me try to put some effort into it, and thinking like I would never need anatomy. Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
a lie. All right. If you're trying to get into the field, you're going to need anatomy. So, for those who has like the IQ but needs to, or a little bit of IQ, you need to go beyond what you already know and actually put forth some effort into researching. If you're not in classes, um, just the body. Just Google anything. What are you curious about? But if I had a plan, I would say the basics of training. So like rep ranges depending on goals, um, reps and sets depending on goals. Understand the needs of whoever you're training. Like what do they need? All right. So
Mm-hmm.
how do we get that? You lay it out and then you build little blocks underneath it, steps of how to get there. All right. So how do we get there? All right. So what is this goal? How do we achieve that goal? Um, and you just Google it, you research it. Somebody who needs strength endurance. Strength endurance is between 12 to 20 reps. So it's a lot of volume, low intensity, basic stuff like that. They want to get bigger. What do? You do 6 to 12 reps, so on and so forth. So I would start with a college education. If you don't have the chance, then just Google. Google has the answer to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Someone who I looked up to on Instagram when I was coming up was Paul Favorites. His PJF
Yeah,
Performance. I love him. I love him.
he's a goat.
Um, yeah, he is. On the basketball side was like Jordan Lawley, Chris Brickley, um, my dude Devin. He started the 10,000 hours
Yeah,
series. So like
love that.
videos like that were very, very informative. They were
Mm-hmm.
very like inspirational and motivational. So that's kind of what got me started, got me curious. And so you follow those dudes, they'll lead you down a different path, of
Mm-hmm.
things that I didn't even know that was true about the body. I didn't even know the body could do that. You know what I mean? Like, so now you're more curious and you start
Mm-hmm.
Googling more. So really, you just have to start somewhere, with whether it's college, try to retain all that info, um, or just researching, get on Instagram, get on Google, what are you curious about? Type it in, write it down. I have, I got like 5 notebooks. I got 2 computers and I probably got some of the same stuff in each one of those. I heard it again. I'm gonna go write it down.
Mm-hmm.
I put stuff on little whiteboards in my room. I just write it down, so that way it's instilled in my brain. So if I ever get stumped or confused, I just go back to that. You go back to your base, and so now you have all these different things written down in different places. It's always with you. You know what I mean? So once you see information, write it down. It sticks to the brain better. I don't know how to describe it, but it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of successful people have said the same thing. Like they write it down. They don't just try to remember it or just type it in their phone. Like no, you have to actually like write it down, and it'll
Mm-hmm.
stick. So I would focus on that, the educational piece. Just research. Just research.
So to kind of add a little bit to what you were saying, part of it is because it takes a little bit more mental and physical effort and energy to write things down. So rather than texting, like it doesn't take as much to just swipe your thumb or just tap your thumb to like do it. It takes a little bit more concentration and effort to write it down.
Hmm.
So that's kind of
Absolutely.
why it sticks a little bit heavier when you're writing it versus just typing it or texting it. But
That makes sense.
yeah, I want to get back to what you said about finding what the athletes need. So the athlete needs strength and endurance. You do that, but how do you figure out where they're lacking? So how do I know that this athlete needs strength and endurance? How do I know that they need more power? What do I look at to say they need this? Because sometimes the athletes don't really know. They're just like, I'm here because my mom made me, or I'm here because I'm supposed to be here, or I hear that. So like, they don't know what they need. But how do you assess? Like, okay, they need strength and endurance. They need power. They need just max strength. How do you assess to know that part?
Yeah. So, firstly, you get their goals. Like, what's this athlete's goal?
Mm-hmm.
All right, how do we get there? All right, you right. How do we get there? And then you can assess them. Take them through some movements. Some core staple movements that you will be doing in their program or what they need. So it'll be functional movement screen. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. Like that's a basic
Mm-hmm.
one. You take them through like an overhead squat, like some hamstring stuff. You do like an inline lunge, and so doing some of these movements, you can see some imbalances, some points where they're weak, some stuff that they need work on, and so you're not going to fix everything all in this program. You're not going to fix everything all in one day or nor in the first week. It's going to take time. And you build a program and based on those weaknesses and over time you'll start to notice some other stuff, maybe this athlete is hard to balance on their left leg for 30 seconds, but their right leg is good. And so now you have an imbalance. So what they need now is like stabilization balance, so maybe you sprinkle that in the beginning of the session. And
Mm-hmm.
then also that athlete is weak. So in the middle, your meat and potatoes, you focus on strength. So you
Mm-hmm.
can focus on multiple goals all in one session. Just depends on what's most important. Like I said, what's their goal? Their goal is to get stronger, but they have bad balance. All right, so let's work on balance for 5 minutes, but let's work on strength for like 20 minutes or 15
Mm-hmm.
minutes. So really it just takes time. You do an initial assessment, you see where they're weak, what can we improve, you put that in the program, you build a program. Over time they'll show you where else they're weak or if they gotten stronger, so now we can move on to something else. But ultimately we're still trying to get to that ultimate goal. So it's going to take time, but start with an initial assessment, and then over time you'll start to notice some different areas to improve.
Mm. Told you you're a smart dude, man. Like you giving people
Nah,
gems right now.
man, all this is from mentors and everybody else, just combined into my own little thought process.
Yeah, man, I'm the same way, brother. So I definitely feel you on that one. Um, but take me through, like we talked about in the beginning, man. Like a lot of people feel like you just go from A to Z and you just land in this position. But walk me through a little bit more of your mentoring and your studying and like what you kind of picked up from each spot that you had. So like take me through, okay, I was at Ramsey and I took this and I learned this. And when I went to UAB, I was at this and I learned this. When I went to,
Hmm.
college, when I went private, when I did this. So take me through each spot and like what's the thing that you took away from each stop that you had.
Absolutely. So let's start with UAB. That's where I was first. So my mentor Nick Michael, he he was a very simple guy. He was blue collar, meaning like you have to work for everything. Like you gotta get your hands dirty if you want something. Type of dude. He was 6'8". He looked like a strength coach, kind of like a buzz cut haircut. So
Mm,
I was like, damn, like this dude mean business. I can't come in here on no BS. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So he taught me to be simple. He taught me to be on time. um, he taught me to be prepared. You know, you have to. He will prepare a year out, 6 months out, a week out. Never like day of. You know, like it seemed like he was always prepared for anything. So that's kind of
Mm.
what I learned there. Later move on to private sector. So I was at a private gym in Birmingham, and we did a lot of Olympic weightlifting. And so like I've never Olympic weightlifted in my life. You know, that's a different way to express power. You know, rate of force development, snatches, cleans, clean and jerks, like all that type of stuff. Also paired with like metcons. So like this is the general fitness. This is something that I picked up if a client or a person just wanted to be in shape, but they still wanted to feel like an athlete. Like the all the workouts felt like yo, if you're not an athlete, you can't do this stuff. We go from cleaning to running like 600 meters, coming back doing chin ups, like and repeating. Like so,
Mm.
if you're not mentally strong or you don't have like an athletic background, you're not gonna make it. You know, so that's kind of what I picked up. You know, I picked up the Olympic lifting. Here at the same spot, I kind of picked up some character traits. You know, like speaking to the like so we had to speak to the guest before they could speak to us type thing. Like we had to speak to them
Mm.
as soon as they came through the door. You know, we had to reach out and text so we had like 250 members split amongst 4 coaches. You know, I can't do the math that fast, like 75 people, something like that.
That sounds good to
80
me.
some, yeah. So we had to text. It would be a week where we would have to text all 80 people within that week. And you know, it's just reaching out, checking on them, like, hey, like you crushed it this week, or haven't seen you in a while. How's everything going? You know,
Hmm.
that kind of taught me how to be intentional with each person. You know, be
Mm.
intentional with each relationship. You know, it drew authenticity. Like so, like if you don't know this person in the gym personally, like it's gonna be hard for me to reach out. Like it's gonna feel like I'm just trying to collect money, you know. But instead, you know, you talk to this person about their mom and their family, you know, and you reach out to them next week. You're like, hey, how's mom's doing? You know, oh, she's doing
Mm.
good. Thanks for asking. You know, that make that person feel good. Like I actually
Yeah.
care about them. And so we did that with every athlete in the gym. And so that's something that I learned there, you know, just being intentional with each relationship. After that, I went to D1. D1 D1 taught me how to work with young athletes. You know, I was having like 6-year-olds, all the way up to semi-pro football players. Like, so I would have a wide range. So coaching a semi-pro athlete is easier, honestly, than coaching a 6-year-old. Like with a 6-year-old, you have to keep their attention span. You have
Hmm.
to it has to be fun. If it's not
Hmm.
fun, they don't want to come back. You know,
Yep.
they also have to be getting better. Like you have to make a program where that 6-year-old actually feels like they're getting better. You know, the hurdle is 2 inches today. Next week, we're moving up to 4 inches. You know, when you first came in, your foot was hitting this 4 inch hurdle all the time. Now you jumping over it and clearing it. Like, good job. Like, yeah, we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna play a game at the end. You know,
Hmm.
stuff like that. So at D1, I was taught how to work with any age population. You know, from little kids down or up to young adults. At the same time, I was at Ramsey, so I was working with the high school population. Um, this is kind of where I learned a little bit more about basketball because now I have a little bit more responsibility. You know, high school, it's only like 3 coaches on the team, and most of them wear multiple hats. You know, they're taking kids to practice, dropping them off at home. Um, High school, you know how it was in high school. You started becoming curious about other things in life. You know, you got to keep them drawn into high
Yeah,
school
man.
sports, high school degree, like all that. So, and you know, when we get that age, we start maturing and we start realizing who we are. And so you have to be there for them to help them with that. And so that's kind of what I learned there. I kind of learned my role wasn't just a strength coach. It was actually a big brother, a mentor. Um, this at this age group, they look up to you more than anything. Like you're gonna you're gonna they're gonna base their college decision based off of you. Like
Mm,
what you think. All right, what did you do? They're gonna want to do that. So you have to be intentional with those relationships too. But I kind of learned multiple hats there. I was a basketball coach too. I never coached basketball, but coach had me charting paint touches and fouls and minutes.
mm,
Like it was crazy, but it was cool at the same time. Um, so move on to A&T. A&T, it was different, and I appreciate it. It's an HBCU. They don't have much. So how could I still create a winning, fun culture with little resources? And they know it. You have to make it fun. Um, most of them look like me. They come from where I come from. I didn't have much. So you have to kind of teach them to appreciate the little things in life. And it kind of feel good when you have to work that much harder for something and succeed. Like once you succeed, it feels so much better because we didn't have those nice things, or we didn't have a nice locker room or the best weight
mm,
room. We go play other teams and we looking at their facility like, yo, like what is this? This is crazy. Like I wish we had that.
mhm,
It looks good. It looks good, but how intentional are those coaches or those athletes? Do they really appreciate what they have? You never know. But for us, we appreciated all the hand me downs, and not to say that we had hand me downs at A&T. I loved it, Coach Ferris El Ali. Like he was my next mentor, who I would like to give a lot of thanks to, because he showed me like what was really important in life. He challenged me every day. He kept it real with me, but he also let me be myself. He let me
mm,
shine my personality on the student athletes. And so that was what was most important for me, was to be so positive that they don't have time to think about the negative. Like we just
mm,
enjoying being here. We enjoying being able to even work out. We're enjoying even having chocolate milks. We didn't have chocolate milks last week. What I mean? Like, and that's something simple.
mhm.
What I mean? So like this week we got chocolate milk. Oh, we finna go crazy in the weight room. And
Yeah.
so they pumped up about chocolate milk, and they ready to come lift the next day. So what I learned there was to appreciate the little things, um, and that the athletes, they can influence us the same way that we can influence them.
Mm,
To see them, because at the end of the day, like they're playing, they're the ones in the locker rooms, they're the ones that have to come in and work out at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., go to class. Like, so like we've been there, we know how it is. So to see them push through and not complain, kind of showed me like, oh shoot, like I can't complain about nothing in life. Like I made it here, I made it this far. What I have to complain about, they not complaining. So they kind of made me a better person. Um, and they just challenged me to come up with different ways to challenge them. We didn't have everything, so like we have to we have to find ways around our loopholes, to make
mm,
things happen. Like we can't make excuses. We got to get it done. So that's what they challenged me on. And finally, here being in the pros, I would say being able to adapt on the fly. Like you're gonna get thrown curveballs like crazy in the league. Like you don't know what the visiting team's locker room gonna look like. You don't know what the weight room's gonna look like. You don't know what the hotel is gonna look like. Our flight could be delayed. Like you
mhm,
never know. You just have to be ready for it. Um, you have a program set, and then this player, he rolls his ankle, but he still got
mm,
to lift. And it could be like the next morning at the hotel. And so like now you have a player with a hurt ankle, last minute. You have to lift them in a hotel. So like you have to be able to adapt on the fly, and that's something that I learned in the league. And also, it's just taxing. It's a long season. We travel a lot. We're always on a plane, so you have to take certain stuff like that into consideration when guys are about to play. You know, am I gonna try to force them to lift after we just had a 5 hour flight? Like that's kind of stupid. You know, just tell them
Mhm.
like, hey, chill out today. We'll hit the pool or something tomorrow. You know, not guys like, oh man, thank you, I needed that. You know, so that does something to the mental too.
Mhm.
When guys, you know, they thinking that they have to lift, but you hit them with, oh, let's just go to the pool tomorrow. Like, oh, they feel so much better now. All right, I'm gonna go get some rest. Now they can sleep good. They can wake up, and now they have like some activation in the pool. So like, just being able to adapt on the fly in the league.
Mm. I think that last point you just said is very important because I was literally having a conversation with a guy today, like a kid. He's like, man, I got to go hard every day. I'm going 100%. He's like, he just told me how he had an injury, not even like sports related. He just had an injury, like he went to like snowboarding or something. He hurt his knee. He's like, bro, every time I see you, you got an injury. He's like, yeah, man, but I got to go hard. Da, 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 da. I'm like, bro, you got to chill out, relax. At some point, you
You
got to.
going too hard, yeah. There's a certain thing called overtraining, and it's real.
Yes,
You can overtrain.
yes, man. So
That's
I think that
hilarious.
I try to find that balance between working hard and doing your part. Like you can't just slack off. You gotta. There's a balance between working hard and doing what you gotta do, and at the same time finding the balance when you're resting. And I think
Yeah.
that's a tricky thing because it changes from player to player, person to person. But
Hmm.
overall, man, like you still gotta like find it.
You got to
Like
have
some
a
people just like,
balance.
I'm gonna go crazy and just go hard. Like, no, bro, that's everybody can't be Kobe. Like, I love Kobe, that's my
Yeah.
dude. Everybody can't be Kobe. So
Right.
I think that's
Right.
important, bro. Especially at that
And
level,
we
man. Like,
also we also saw how many injuries Kobe had too.
yes.
Like from going hard, you know. Like you said, there's only one Kobe, but Kobe also had some consequences to deal with because of how hard he went.
Yeah. So I'm,
So,
I'm glad you understand that, especially at that level, dudes are getting paid and money's on the line and contracts on the line. So it's a
oh
whole different
yeah.
ball game up there.
Yeah. My job was to just maintain, you know, their qualities.
Mm-hmm.
Like they get paid to play basketball, like you said. They don't get paid to be in the weight room, to be the best
Mm-hmm.
lifter. You know what I mean? The strongest dude in the weight room. Like, nah. Let's chill out. Let's make sure your body is good to go for the next day. When you actually do feel good, that's when we're gonna push you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta know when. You gotta have that balance.
Mm. I like that, man, because I don't do as much performance side. I do more skill side. I'm working on learning more, and maybe my situation isn't the best to do more performance or the strength and conditioning. But one of my players had a situation where they trained with somebody else, and basically, long story short, it impacted their game. Like they were like shaking it. I was looking at them like, man, what's wrong with them? We ain't going hard. Like I'm dad cussing them out, like going crazy. Da da da. I'm like, she ain't doing what she's supposed to do. So after the game, we talking to us like, I'm still super sore from the workout I had like 2-3 days ago, and I was like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here, fam? Like
What
that's a
y'all
red
do?
flag for me. Like
Right.
so, like that's something that even like my side as a skills trainer, like that's my biggest fear to it. What I'm doing negatively impacts you on court. So like I'm
Hmm.
here to aid you, assist you, but if what I'm doing takes away from what you're doing on the court, because that's game is number one. What I'm
Yep.
doing is number two. I'm not that important when it comes to your ecosystem, how you perform. So
Hmm.
if me taking a back seat, like you said, means, hey, we chilling out today, we just getting up light shots or whatever, then by all means do that. Because it's not about me. I'm not stroking my ego to have this whole my system is the I could care less about that, bro. Are you playing
Right.
well? All right, cool, I'm winning. So
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
so overall, I think we all need to make sure that the player comes first and the games come first. So you
Hmm.
understanding that, like at that level means a lot. But I think it needs to trickle down to college and to high school and middle school because it's impacting people. Like I don't
Hmm.
think people always understand that, and I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna change, but I hope it does at some point, man.
Communication really is all like communication.
Mm,
You have to be open minded for one. You can't be selfish and ego driven. That what you're doing is helping them. No,
Mm-hmm.
everything that everybody is doing is helping them or hurting them. You know what I mean? So being able to communicate with everybody who has a part in it would help. And everybody just being open minded. I feel like basketball is more important in the weight room right now. Right? You know what? You're right. Absolutely. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just do this and this and that. That way they are available.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to work. And it has to be a time and place where it's flipped. Weight room is more important than basketball right now. So the sport coach would have he's gonna have he or she understand. Like, yep, you're
Mm-hmm.
right. Weight room is more important when she's done with them, then or with her. Then we'll do this and on the court. So really, just communication. Communication. Everybody get on the same page, and everything would be better. It would be better.
Yeah. Uh, only issue with that is ego, but that's another
Yep.
conversation for another day, man.
You can't let your ego get in it. Facts.
But yeah, bro. So what has it been like to be at the G League? I know it's not the most sexy and glamorous situation, but at the same time, it's like you right there to being like
Hmm.
NBA. So what has that been like for you, man, this past year?
And so that's why I like it because it's like I'm right there. I'm right
Mm-hmm.
there. I'm still hungry. I'm still young, so I still have like a lot of fire in me. I want to keep going, and I'm not there yet. So being in the G League is like, all right, I'm almost there. I got to keep going. I'm not gonna go backwards. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna get complacent and content right here. I got to keep going, and it's good having a good culture around you because that's what everybody's goal is. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
goal is that, some people, and this isn't, I'm just speaking in general. Some people are cool with being here. And then you have the people who are not cool with being here. They want to keep going. And luckily for us, we have more people who wanted to keep going on our team, on our staff, and our organization than we didn't. So it's been cool. It's been cool. Able to see high level athletes every day is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen every athlete at this point, and being around guys who get it, who understand basketball way better than I do. It's
Mm-hmm.
so satisfying. I've been in college and in high school where it's like, dang, I know more than y'all. Like, come on, man. Like, but to be around pro athletes who get it, who sees it faster than you do, like
Mm-hmm.
it's challenging. So it's like, dang, I need to learn it at their level. So it's like not only am I trying to get y'all better and get y'all called up and for me to move up, I also want to understand this high level basketball too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
y'all seeing this, like, why did you do that? Why did you make that read? You know, what what did y'all call this screen? Like, it's so many different terms and it's so
Yes.
fast.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge. Like, I like it. It's something new. Um, I haven't conquered it yet. So it's like I still want to conquer it. Um, I want to become the best at this level in my field. And it's a lot of great strength coaches. So it's like, I feel like I'm back at the bottom again. So now I have to keep climbing and getting better over and over and over daily. You know what I mean? So, like, it's a challenge. And that's what we need to grow. We need to be challenged. We can't, like, I wake up and I pray that God make today difficult somehow. Like, throw me a
Mm-hmm.
challenge. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready for it. And some days I get a challenge that I wasn't expecting. Like it's like, dang, like how do I bounce back from that? Or how do I fix that? Well, that's part of it. You sit
Mm-hmm.
down, you assess it, what happened, what went wrong, what could I have done better, you know? And that's like a daily thing. And there's good days though. There's days that I win. I chalk up each day as a win or a loss. And I have more dubs than I do L's, but those L's just they hit different. They
Mm-hmm.
make you feel like you lost 5 days when it's just one L.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I'm grateful. Like I said, it's faster pace. Um, so every day is a challenge, and that's what I like at this level. It's a grind. I'm still trying to make it. I'm trying to go one more notch. Even then, when I get there, it's like, yo, shoot, I want to at least get 5 years straight on one team. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've been in a different position each year, like intern, high school, private sector, college, now G League. I've been somewhere different each year. So it's like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
once I get there, I want to stay there and just be on one team and actually put in so much work that it has to pay off. Like, I want to win an NBA championship one day, be a part of
Mm-hmm.
that type of team, you know. So it's a grind, it's a challenge, but a well worth it challenge for
Yeah,
sure.
that mindset is basically, make sure is what the brand for me is about, bro. Like progress is the only goal. Like,
Progress is the only goal. I like that. I
yeah,
like that.
it's like you said, you trying to outdo yourself from yesterday. You're trying to every day is a new challenge. Like that's that you pray every day for a new challenge. I ain't did that one yet, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna slow
yeah,
down for that one.
man. No, you got to be ready for it because you'll have a flat tire, your gas tank on E, and you supposed to be there in 5 minutes type stuff. Like some
Yep.
random what happened, but for the most part, challenges that's not too crazy, not too crazy, but I would
Yeah.
say challenging though.
Yeah. So, but that mindset is what I strive to live by. You feel me? Like, can I be better today than I was yesterday? How can I outdo
Hmm.
myself today? What can I work on today? And sometimes, like we talked about earlier, sometimes that progress is just me resting today. Sometimes it's just me chilling out and getting extra sleep and taking a nap. So, but
Yep.
that mindset is what I live by. Like making progress my goal, not just being the best, not just being the champion sitting on Mount Olympus. Can I be better? Can I make progress, man? So
Hmm.
but that resonates, bro. Like we right here with each other, man. Hey, relax. It's okay. Listen, I understand that your goal is so big that it just feels daunting. It just feels overwhelming. Like you trying to get to the NBA, you trying to get to the WNBA. You trying to play D1 college ball. I understand. Sometimes that feels like a lot. But listen, you're not gonna make that jump from now tomorrow to be to the league or be in D1. So let's just slow down and focus on the whole journey. Enjoy where you're at right now, but don't get too comfortable. You have to still keep working. You still have to make some type of progress and still keep growing. All you gotta do is think about this. If the minimum I can do today is get 1% better, you winning. Because there are some people gonna take a step backwards. There are some people that's gonna stop and just be equal. But technically, you're not gonna be equal because I'm getting better than you, so it means you fell backwards now. And so you gotta get 1% better. Because it's a slow grind from where you're at now to where you want to get to. You don't have to worry about taking over the world in one day. Just take over step by step, one piece at a time, 1% better. It's a whole journey. Okay, you got this goal that's just hanging over you, weighing you down. But this goal, the end destination, it's not gonna change. So you have to appreciate the journey and taking steps to get there. You're a marathon runner, but the whole marathon is about focusing on that next step. So I need you to go ahead and look at whichever one you want. You can get this one, one of the other ones. But I need you to get this reminder for you. Get you a hoodie, a t-shirt, whichever one, as a reminder that progress is my only goal. And progress don't mean I'm perfect. Progress don't mean I'm there. Progress means I'm getting better. Because better and better adds up to being the best you that you can be. But the best is not existing because you're always going to get better. So get you this peaceful reminder right here to say, hey, all I gotta do is be a little bit better, 1% better, and I'll get to that goal at some point. So remember, it's about the entire journey and not just the end goal. Because progress is the only goal.
Yeah, that's something I used to live by too. Speaking on that, progress, not perfection. You know, we try to be
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Like, no, you can't be perfect, dog. Like, you
Yeah,
have to just focus on making progress. Just get better. Just get at least 1% better than you were
exactly.
yesterday. That's progress. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
do that over and over and over consistently. Like, it'll lead you to places that you wouldn't expect. Like, you surpass whatever you had in mind. So, yeah, progress, not perfection, man.
Yeah, man. I respect that, man. Because like you said, we on the same page. So you definitely hit home for me with that one, bro. But
Hmm.
we covered a lot, man. Um,
Yeah.
anything else you
No, this
wanna?
is good.
Oh yeah, I love it, bro. Anything else you wanna get out there for the people?
Nah, not really, man. Just let's be humble. for one, um, have faith in God, but you also have to match that with a work ethic, and be good to people. That's really all I ask. Be humble, know where you come from, respect others. That's part of being humble. You have to grind. You have to have a faith. You have to match both, and I think that'll lead everyone to a better place, and ultimately it'll help you reach your goals. So that's what I leave everybody with,
Hmm. Okay, so
for sure.
um, I almost forgot for a second. I do have two last questions. I try to get to everybody, man.
Hmm.
So, first one is if you could stand at a podium for the whole world to see. Technically, this is for the world, but um, you just want to give somebody their flowers, somebody that you feel is a little slept on, a little underrated. It can be a play that
Mm,
you have, a coach that you know, whoever. It can be whoever you've known and your mentor, whoever. You want to show some love to them and give them their flowers. Who is that for you? It could
hmm.
be family member, whoever. Who's somebody you want to give them flowers? Be like, yo, people sleep on you, but you the real MVP. So who would that be for you?
Yeah. I want to do so. I had two people in mind, but I want to go like four. All right.
Go ahead.
um, First, I would, and I'm gonna just group them all in one. Is my fam. So like my mom, my dad, my stepmom. Um, they did a great job of making me work for whatever I wanted when I was younger. My stepmother, she made me make the bed every morning, and I hated it. I swear I hated it. And on top of just being young and immature, like she's my stepmom, so I'm like, yo, like, why I gotta do this? Why you telling me that? But
Yeah.
that lady there, man, she taught me how to be disciplined. She taught me how to be consistent. You know, and I think those habits are what stuck, and that's what got me to where I am today. Is my discipline, doing the things that I don't want to do
Hmm.
when they need to be done, is discipline, and consistency is having discipline over and over and over. That's consistency.
Hmm.
So, my dad, he raised me to be tough. He raised me. Um, we didn't have a lot, and so he made me appreciate the little things. And so that's why I was fine with being in places where we didn't have anything. I grew up this way, so I'm gonna make it do what I'm gonna make it do what it do. You feel me? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't complain. There's no excuses, And my mother, she was a hardworking woman. She we had three kids in the house. My older sister had went to college at this point, and she was a single parent. She worked hard, went to work every day. She worked two jobs. She did everything she could for us. So she kind of put that hunger in my heart, to want more, to get more, to never blame working as a reason why I'm unsuccessful. I hate working. Nah, man, my mama, she did that for 20 years. You feel me? With no
Hmm.
complaints, nobody there to help. We were the help, the young ones. We cooked for each other. My mom
Hmm.
wasn't there, so she kind of just taught me that hunger attitude. I got to stay hungry. So I'll give them their flowers. My mentors, Nick Michael and Ferris El Ali, they showed me how to be a good strength coach. They applied pressure. They told me when I was wrong. They corrected me. Um, and I didn't have anything to say back. Yes, sir, no, sir. That's the type of
Hmm.
person I was. Yes, sir, no, sir. How do I fix it? you know, and that's what they showed me. They showed me how to be a good strength coach. So I appreciate them. And lastly, would be a player. One of our players this past season, his name was Jonathan Williams. He was from Buffalo. Played with us this year. He just got a 2-year deal with the Trailblazers, and he deserves it. As a strength coach, I'm always trying to be there early on time. There'll be days where he beat me there, and
Hmm.
low key, like that pissed me off. You know what I mean? Like I want to be the first one in the gym. Like ain't nobody
Yeah.
gonna beat me in the gym. I'm supposed to be the first one in the gym. So it was like just days of us just trying to race to the gym and beat each other low key. And we would never say anything about it, which is crazy. But I felt it, and I feel like he felt it. Like, he would always try to beat me to the gym. I'm like, man, all right, tomorrow I'm gonna come in 20 minutes early. I'll beat him. He'll get to the gym and be like, man, he beat me today. All right. But we'll never say nothing. We just always be like, what's up, man? What's up? Type stuff. But that kid's work ethic, man, is crazy. Like, when I think of Kobe, like, I I feel like he was doing everything that Kobe was doing. Like, he would get there like an hour and a half early. Like, he would have a routine, and I would like know his routine. Like, he's going to the bathroom first. He's gonna walk out with his shoes in hand. That's because he want to work out barefoot to get warmed up. Then he's gonna put his shoes on. He's gonna hit the court. He's gonna start out with dribbling drills. He's gonna go finish. He's gonna go mid range. Then he's gonna go pull up. Then he's gonna go threes. Like, every day, never changed. And I studied it, and I started to do it myself. I started to have a routine again. I will come in and do the same thing. I'm gonna hit the weight room. I'm gonna write the workout up first, and then I'm gonna get my work in, and then I'm gonna hit the court. And then the guys should be coming in, and I'm gonna start my work day. And so, like, by him doing that, he motivated and inspired me to do it. And when guys will roll in, they'll see me already sweating. They'll see him already sweating. Next thing you know, guys started to come in early. Like, it was a snowball effect. So I want to give him his flowers for what he did, and to watch his journey. He was the youngest on the team. He started off not playing, then he started playing. He started leading the G League in, like, corner 3-point threes. Like, it was just crazy to see all that manifest. And then at the end of the season, he gets a 2-way deal with the Trailblazers, and it's like, yo, that's proof right there. Like, you put the work in, and you stay persistent, and you don't let anything knock you off your path. Like, you will get blessed times 3 than what you was even expecting. So those are the people who I want to give their flowers to: fam, mentors, and that one player.
I like that, man. That was it's a good story, man. Because that go back to what you said earlier about how culture is. You feel me? Like, you didn't have to
Mm-hmm.
force anybody to do anything. Like, that's just the way the culture went, man. So
Mm-hmm.
I like that one,
Absolutely.
man. So before I get to my last question, for everybody listening or watching, you feel me? Like, are you subscribed? If you're on YouTube watching, are you subscribed? Like, you're watching this on YouTube? Why aren't you subscribed to the channel too? Like, it's a dope podcast. I got dope people like this giving you game and giving you gems left and right. Got a dope story. So, like, why not subscribe? If you listening on Apple, Spotify, whoever else, just do your same thing. Follow along, subscribe, whatever. Doesn't matter which one it is. Just subscribe, follow along. Follow me on social media. BeBall Jones. It's BE Ball Jones. I'm everywhere. Same name, all that good stuff. I did that on purpose. So it's easy for you to type in, easy for you to find me. But then, of course, you gotta follow my guy. Gotta follow Denzel on Instagram. It's right there, bottom of the screen. You feel me? Stowe Performance on IG. All right. It's gonna be in the description
Mm-hmm.
below, so don't worry about it. I got you. So uh, before we get out of here with this last question, man, I would
Mm-hmm.
like for you to, like, give me a good story that you have, man, or give me something that you just learned from the game, learned from a coach, whoever that just, like, we all have this situation when we're in a locker room or, before practice or after practice or whatever, and the coach give a game or a parent gives a little nugget, and it's just like, man, like, that just hit me like from left field, and like that's something you apply off the court too, man. So give me something that you've learned from a coach, whoever, man, that just hits you on the court and off the court.
Absolutely. Just seeing it for myself, seeing it from my own eyes, and just dealing with it through my own experience. A part of being successful, it's gonna come with some losses, like a lot of losses. Like, you're gonna lose sleep, you're gonna lose time, you're gonna lose games, um, you're gonna lose athletes due to they find a new trainer, or they transfer schools, or anything. Player get cut. Success is gonna have losses. You have to stay persistent and learn from the losses to turn them into W's, you know. And it's very cliche, but I mean, it's true. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have to learn from your greatest losses to be successful. And what you put in is what you get out of it. Is that simple. You know, you put 30 minutes in it, you're going to get 30 minutes worth of outcome. You know, you put 2 hours into it, you're going to get about 2 hours in the outcome. You know, it just depends on what it is. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get out of it. And
Mm-hmm.
just know that there's people out there who's not waiting. You know, they're not going to waste time. They're going to be working towards their goal relentlessly. You know, so that would be my thing that I learned. Being in the field is not for the weak. Like I said, it's gonna be a lot of long hours. There's gonna be times where you feel misunderstood, and it's gonna be a lot of moments that's gonna test your ego. You know, you can't. And we talked about this earlier. Like, the ego is a big thing. It's powerful. Like, it trick you into thinking that you're not so good or that you're too good, and then once that L hit, it's gonna set you back way further than, you know, had you just been a normal person, a normal ego type of person, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not for the weak. You know, the grind is not for the weak. You have to be mentally strong. You have to have a good support base behind you. And you have to wake up every day expecting the worst. You know, today may not be the best day, but I'm gonna be prepared for it. That's the only way that, you know, you can avoid being in a mess. So something that my coach said that made a lot of sense to me. He said after the game, I think we lost, and he came into the locker room and he said, "What did he say?" He said, "Smart people learn from their own mistakes, but wise people learn from other people's mistakes."
Mm-hmm.
And like that hit. I was like, "Yo, hold on." I was like, because I a lot of times we only do focus on learning from our mistakes when you have a mentor out in front of you, or you have a family member or a teammate, somebody younger than you, who made a mistake that you haven't made yet. So a wise person will learn from their mistake. Like, yo, he did this and, you know, he failed at it. I wonder if he failed because he did it a certain way. All right, well,
Mm-hmm.
cool. I'm gonna try this way instead. Or, you know, he did this like 5 times, it didn't work. I'm not even gonna fool with that at all. You know what I mean? Like, so that kind of stuck with me. He said smart people learn from their own mistakes, wise people learn from other people's mistakes. And like that hit. And I was like, yo, I'm trying to ask everybody, yo, did you do this? You try this? How did it go? You know, how it turned out? Or what would you have done? What would you have done different? What would you have done better? You know, I ask him. So when that moment comes, I'm already prepared for it. You know, I've already seen this before. I prepared for it. So that's something that really stuck to me over the time. Like, whatever you put in, you're gonna get out of it, and also you have to learn from not only just your mistakes but other people's mistakes. You know, so use them, and that's why I'm here. You know, I'm here to tell guys about the mistakes that I made. You know, don't make that mistake. I did that before, or I didn't take care of my body. This is what happened. You know, I got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't really care about sports. That's why I don't have a scholarship. You should start caring now. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like, just little stuff like that. So, but I'm very appreciative. Very.
That's a bar, bro. You
Another
gave
one.
too many of them. You gave too many of them away, bro. They gotta start
Another
charging
one.
now, man.
Look, my hat all sideways, cricket, man. I'm running out of bars.
That's what happens when you get too many bars away, bro. You gotta start changing the hat up, man. Like,
my head starts getting full of bars.
yeah, man. That's good, bro. But we gonna get out of here, man. 'Cause we gotta start charging for the next part, man. But that's it. Yeah, appreciate y'all watching.
Free game.
Oh man, there's too much free game, man. They good, man. Forget it. They ain't even finished. They ain't picked up on the first one you dropped, man. So you can't get no more out, bro. That's it.
Right.
But that's it, man. Appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate y'all listening. Appreciate you, Denzel, for coming on. That's it, man. See y'all next week for another episode.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, bro.